Good evening, Newburyport. State Auditor Zaglio. Wow, does that sound good? State Senator Tar, District Attorney Tucker. Well, I don't know if we mentioned earlier, but District Attorney Tucker is here. Thank you for coming. Mayor Gove, thank you. Council President Shan, members of City Council and School Committee, Superintendent Gallagher, Superintendent Lynch, who we saw came in from Whittier. Thank you for coming. Jesse, Sadie, Ollie, Ruby, Mom, Dad, Mimi, and Papa, and all in attendance this evening and watching from home. It is my great honor to be addressing you this evening as Mayor of the City of Newburyport and to update you on the state of this great city. This is my first time addressing you in this auditorium since being sworn in as Mayor. That day I was filled with excitement and optimism as I prepared to tackle the many challenges facing our city. It feels like a long time has passed since I announced my intentions to run for mayor at the end of December 2020. This was a childhood dream, and to actually get to do this job every day is still pretty surreal. When you're running for mayor, it's all about knocking on doors and getting in front of as many people as you can to talk about your vision and goals for the city. Running for mayor and actually being the mayor are two totally different concepts. In my first 2 weeks of office, I had to dismiss a department head, another department head resigned, and then I had to deal with my first snowstorm. And it just got busier after that. This is a 24/7 job. It is nonstop. And even with all that, believe it or not, I am happy to announce, no, not my resignation, but that after a year and some weeks, that my excitement and passion for this job remains. I am right where I'm supposed to be. And I am still filled with positivity about the future of this great city and the ability to overcome whatever the future has in store for us. This year was not without its many challenges. Newburyport Youth Services went through their first full year without a home. They adapted a shared spaces, having offices away from programming, and were extremely flexible in finding and engaging middle school and high school youth, as well as working in a new youth space at the new Methodist Church spot. The youth center has not yet rebounded from pre-COVID numbers, but I am optimistic that a new home at 59 Low Street will support their continued growth and they continue to support our youth in the community. Inflation and rising energy costs were a challenge for city government and certainly for residents. We owe a huge thanks to Molly Ettenborough and the city's Energy Advisory Committee for their work in advancing alternative energy suppliers for the city. Thanks to their work and the decision to move to an alternative power supply, our lower electricity rate for municipal facilities saved tens of thousands of dollars for taxpayers this year. The city was also able to enact its community choice aggregation program that will save residents across Newburyport $2.2 million altogether this winter season. We have also seen residential assessments increase by over 17%, which led to an increase in taxes for an average single-family home of 6%. I would like to thank our treasurer, Julie Landrin, our assessor, Joe Brennan, and our finance director, Ethan Manning, together with everyone in their offices, for modeling the effect this would have on our residents and helping to come up with options to lessen the impact of these tax increases. We proposed a split tax rate to help alleviate resident impact, but the council decided to use free cash. I look forward to working with the city council in the future to find alternative ways and additional ways to assist our residents. With all the challenges this year, the city can still claim to be in excellent financial position. The city's certified new growth came in $200,000 higher than estimated. We also anticipating an additional $290,000 returning to next year's free cash certification, following our successful accounting of state and federal pandemic relief funds. We are able to grow the city stabilization fund balance, our rainy day account, to $4.4 million, well in line with the best financial practices. We received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from the Government Financiers Officers Association for the 11th year in a row. Most importantly, we had our very important AAA long-term credit rating reaffirmed in May 2022 by S&P Global Ratings. All of these numbers indicate a healthy short-term and long-term financial picture for the city. One of the biggest changes we've gone through this year at City Hall is our personnel, as we have many new faces that have joined us. When I'm asked about the biggest challenge during my first year in office, the first thing I mention is personnel issues. And I want to thank Donna Drellick and Lisa Riley in the HR office for all their hard work recruiting and hiring new employees. Our information technology department of 2 is 100% new staff, as we welcome James Pope as IT director and Kevin Kiley as IT support coordinator. The public library was home to some of the most transitions, and we are very grateful for Sarah Kelso, our new head librarian, who has hit the ground running with new programs and initiatives to help bring out the best in our wonderful library. New employees at the library include Alexis Laybush, Isabella McGinnis, Emma Crowley, Kristen Young, and Sienna Willis, and we are very happy to have you all on board. At the Council of Aging, we brought on Henry Sharon in a recently reimagined position of COA bus driver / steward. In addition, the city was able to add an outreach specialist at the COA, and we are happy to welcome Ann Freeman to that role. She will be advancing programs and initiatives that will address the health and well-being of this vulnerable population, and to make sure that we are reconnecting with folks who have been isolated during the pandemic. In the health department, we welcome 3 new employees, and Health Director Laura Vlasic, Public Health Nurse Christine Harris, and Assistant Animal Control Officer Glenn Cogswell. This year, we are congratulating Kathleen Sullivan on her promotion to Assistant City Clerk, and welcome back a familiar face in Cassandra Green in the Clerk's Office as Clerk's Office Manager. We also welcome Doreen Gardner in our Treasurer's Office and Renee Ward in our Finance Department. In the Police Department, we hired Robert Capola and Carly Samasco this year as police officers. We also had 2 officers promoted to sergeant, John Gavin and Megan Tierney, who became the first female police officer to hold that rank in our history. She's up there. The fire department has gone through significant changes in leadership positions over the past year. Chief Chris LeClaire is currently on leave and will be retiring later this year. We are thankful to our active leadership who have stepped up to continue the excellent work of the department. Acting Chief Steve Bradbury, Acting Deputy Chief Barry Salt, and Acting Lieutenant Jason Lowry have all brought stability and excellence to the department, and we are certainly lucky to have them. We have begun the process of hiring the next chief with the creation of a resume screening committee that will be led by former Sheriff Frank Cousins. This process is, of course, very personal to me, as my grandfather, Warren Oliver Page, was the first permanent chief hired by the city back in 1960. Some of the departments served under him. We will soon post the position and host an assessment center in order to find the most qualified candidate for fire chief. We will continue to keep council and public updated on this process. We will also be welcoming a new director of the Department of Public Services this year, after the retirement of longtime director, Tony Finari. We extend our deepest appreciation to acting director, Jamie Tuckalo, for serving in his absence. We will begin. We will begin reviewing resumes soon for the director position, with the assistance of the Collins Center of UMass Boston, who is leading the search. We look forward to having a new director and a fully staffed department soon. DPS also welcomed our new city electrician, Jeff Matheson, this year. He has hit the ground running and has made an immediate impact. We welcome 9 other employees to the DPS this year and are grateful for all they do for our city, especially on nights like this. I was happy to hire 3 additions to my team a year ago. Christine Jackson as an executive assistant, Andrew Levine as chief of staff, and Kim Turner as manager of special projects. One of the best parts of my job is working with these 3 individuals who go way above and beyond for the city each and every day. We also brought on many new board and commission members this year and are continually impressed with the passion, expertise, and commitment they bring to these roles. When I first took office, I noticed right away that many of these boards were dominated by men, and I set out to change that. We have put 17 incredibly talented female voices on our boards this year. We will also host a Boards and Commissions open house this spring, so residents can get to know these important volunteer positions and their role in local government. Now, this incredible staff in Newburyport was certainly busy this year, and plenty to work on, starting with our physical assets. One of my main priorities upon taking office last year was to improve the city's streets and sidewalks. This was the #1 issue I heard when knocking on doors during my campaign. Under the direction of then Deputy Director Jamie Tuckalow, we were able to pave 23 streets in wards 1, 3, and 5 in the first year of my 5-year streets and sidewalk plan. This represented over 4.6 miles of roadway, and I am grateful for the City Council for approving $2.4 million over the next 2 years to spend on these identified streets and sidewalks. And we will further supplement the funds with State Chapter 90 and meals tax dollars to commit to $2 million a year for the next 5 years. We believe this will make us take massive strides in keeping our infrastructure safe for residents, and we have looked for ways to improve traffic safety and pedestrian access. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began their dredge of the Merrimack River, the Federal Navigation Channel, a project that the city has been working on for over 10 years. While this project is currently paused, we are going to get this back up and started, Plum Island. It is on track to finish this March. We know this effort is not enough to address the issues of erosion on Plum Island, and we are continuing to push the Army Corps to perform the study that they have promised on their jetty, thank you, Senator Markey, and the need for an additional spur. Securing Plum Island is foundational to the future of this city, and we must work with our partners to keep our eyes on long-term sustainability. In our building department, we saw an increase of over 21% in permits issued in 2022 compared to the previous year. Revenue collected from these permits increased over 20% to over $1 million. The health department has worked to make sure all health standards in the city are met, including the number of food inspections of the city restaurants, updating dog licenses, and the new requirements from the state for notifications of combined sewage overflows. In the coming year, the department will look to find the right balance for this system, notifying all those looking for CSO notification with up-to-date information, while not dissuading use and enjoyment of the river when it is safe. We will continue to work collaboratively with area partners and legislative leaders to address the root causes of CSOs. On a more positive note regarding the Merrimack, on August 3rd this year, we celebrated recertification of Newburyport as a Coast Guard city. This important partnership is part of what makes Newburyport the city it is, and it is an honor to continue to work with the U.S. Coast Guard. Our social service aligned departments were busy serving the people of Newburyport in big ways and small. The Council of Aging saw over 750 individuals participate in sponsored activities. They will continue this year to make sure that some of the city's most vulnerable residents are assisted with their many needs, including food security and transportation. We are particularly grateful for the work of one of our guests tonight, State Senator, and I'll say it again, our now State Auditor, Diana DeZoglio, who was able to secure funding for a new hybrid minivan to help transport seniors. This vehicle will complement the COA buses to help connect seniors to the many destinations across the region and provide a vital link to services they require. Our Veteran Services Department successfully entered over 100 VA claims this year, which helps support our city veterans. In 2021, over $280,000 was distributed to city veterans, and we anticipate even higher numbers in 2022 when that federal report is released. The library partnered with NYS to offer regular drop-in hours with our city social worker. This was at the library for residents in need, and it began a collaboration with the city to further diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. The library participated in a number of outreach events throughout the year, including the Waterfront Festival, Yankee Homecoming, and Know Your Community Day. Our clerk's office did an excellent job through another election year and continues to provide helpful services for residents and the council. And our public safety departments continue their important work under difficult circumstances. At a time when many area fire departments have been struggling with lack of staffing and have been forced to rely more heavily on other departments for assistance, Newburyport firefighters have continued to answer the call of both Newburyport's residents and others. The department aims to continue implementing its new software this year and to ensure they have proper equipment to keep employees and the community safe. Our police department has worked to follow new requirements of the State Police Officers Standards and Training Commission, and officers have been able to attend and complete specialized training from the state as a result. The department is committed to treating every interaction with the public as an opportunity to improve the relationship they have with the community. This year, the department will focus on updating the dispatch center at the police station, hiring sworn and civilian employees, and maintaining its accreditation in the upcoming renewal process. Our Harbor Master's Office continued to play an invaluable role in public safety. We cannot forget that Newburyport, unfortunately, had its share of tragedies this year along the water. I'm grateful to the work of our public safety team, including the fire and police departments. And in this case, I'm incredibly thankful to have Harbor Master Paul Hogg and his team for their role in search and rescue and patrolling our waters. Newburyport Public Schools implemented their Portrait of a Graduate vision and updated their strategic plan, and implemented major initiatives including a district-level curriculum mapping cycle, expanding in-district special education programs, and a new website and app, and offering free tuition kindergarten for all our students. Bear with me, I know it's long. We will work with the schools this year to address infrastructure needs and long-term planning for our buildings and space needs. We also plan to work with our then state partners to address issues with Chapter 70 funding formula and unfunded mandates in special education. We need to find a formula that works for all 351 cities and towns here in Massachusetts. Many of the projects we are taking on this year would not be possible without grant funding. And we are so thankful to our state and federal partners for their assistance on projects, including upgrading our city phone systems, advancing sustainability initiatives, and improving safety at priority intersections. We also received large grants to support the bulkhead, Market Landing Park, the Plum Island Dredge, and other initiatives. Grants totaled over $4.7 million this year, and I want to thank grant developer Nancy London and everyone else who worked on these high priority grants.